I'm Gil Richardson. I was born in Orbost and I lived in Orbost, or lived on a farm here all my life. I farmed here for about 60 years and it's a very kind place to earn a living on a farm. We don't get droughts, we get dry spells. And Marlow is only a few kilometres from the town and a few kilometres from where I live. The proposition to rebuild the paddle steamer Curlup, a historical boat in the estuary in the late 1800s, began with my great-grandfather, Sam Richardson, who built the original one. And out of casual conversations, we explored ways of enhancing the commercial activity in the town. The end result was a plan to maybe rebuild the paddle steamer Curlup. By 2002 we formed a voluntary incorporated non-profit organisation. From that stage, a group of like-minded people, mostly ex-tradesmen, ex-farmers, Dad's Army they got nicknamed as later on, we began to get quite a lot of help, and an area of blue gum timber was identified on Murrungow, and we were able to hire the milk room of the old Orbost Butter Factory, which was big enough to build a boat the size of Curlup.
My name's Graham Fall. I became involved in the Curlup project in July 2006. They had the keel laid in the shed and they were just about ready to start building, and I came along and saw the name up on the door, Curlup, and I went home and said to the wife, the first time I find that door open, I'm going to be in there and they'll have to kick me out to get rid of me. And I did find the door open and got inside and I was welcomed. And it was probably one of the best projects I've ever been involved in.
So we were pretty set. We had a shed, we had the timber, and we had the finances, and that was the beginning of the building of Curlup.
My name is Heather Richardson and I'm Gil's wife. And I've been part of the Curlup project right from the beginning, with meetings at our place to start with. And when the project got started in the shed in Orbost, I became a Curlup widow. Quite a different role to what I've been used to all these life, being a farmer's wife, because Gil would get up in the morning and he'd be gone before I'd even got out of bed, and he wouldn't come home till tea time at night.
I'd done a lot of work with axes and old tools over the years, and I thought it would be a different way of working with timber, a completely different set of skills that I had to apply to building a boat. Because working with axes, it's all go, and you do it pretty quick and roughly. When you come to building a boat, it was slow and precise, and that was a new learning curve for me.
The secondary college came in and they assisted in racking out our timber, and about that time Jan came on board, who you will meet in a while, and Jan was a real ferret in getting into the right places to source funding.
My name's Jan Reid and I joined the Curlup in 2004, and I started when the treasurer got sick and was asked if I would mind starting the books while he was away, and the boys looked after the building of the boat and I started to look after the rest. The project was a huge project for the Orbost district area, but the part that I enjoyed most was the fact that everybody joined in. It extended across boundaries that no other project extended across before or since. There were people came, all the schools were involved. We had groups like the East Gippsland Catchment Management Authority. They came on board and put up displays of the Snowy River. So it wasn't just paddle steamer Curlup that was being built, but they were also getting a history lesson on what was in the area 100 years ago when the first paddle steamer Curlup travelled up and down the river.
It had most of the people on side, and you'd go home from work and you'd meet somebody in the street and they'd ask you, how's the boat going? What's happening? Is there anything we can do?
And then it extended out further than that. The Longboat Association in England started to email us asking us for more information, where somebody had been at the shed on a bus tour. And when we launched, we actually had people from England come over to watch the launch. So this little community of Orbost, which is a fantastic community, suddenly was global, with this paddle steamer being built in the shed, and I found that absolutely fascinating.
If you know where to look, you can still find a little bit of an axe mark or something like that inside, hidden away. I know where they are. No, it was very, very special. Very special.
We certainly, I think, got a good result.
The volunteer hours we actually calculated out. You'd sign on and sign off, and it was $1.2 million of community time that in dollar value that went into the boat. Now that's just outstanding. You know, from a small community, but those volunteers just didn't come from Orbost. You know, they came from Lakes, they came from Melbourne, they came from Albury. You know, we had people coming that would just come for a few hours, or we had regulars that were here most of the time.
In 2008, in October, Curlup was ready to bring down to launch, and she came here and she was launched over in the Snowy River, about a kilometre from here. And my granddaughter, who was Sam's great-great-great-granddaughter, launched the boat with a bottle of champagne and christened her, so it was quite a family involvement.
G'day, my name's Darren Downey. I'm the current chairman and volunteer engineer aboard the paddle steamer Curlup. We're here in Lakes Entrance with the paddle steamer Curlup to have the vessel slipped and to do some repair work underneath the hull in readiness for our underwater survey, which we have to undertake every 2 years. Well, I'm a volunteer, as I said, and we've got a couple of volunteer engineers on board the paddle steamer Curlup. I'm a diesel mechanic by trade. I run a small engineering business in Orbost, and I was involved with the Curlup in the construction phase with some of the heavier engineering work on board, and also of the steam pipe work and so forth. With a project like the paddle steamer Curlup, the community definitely comes together. We found in the construction phase of the Curlup, we often have people of different skill sets, and it gives you the opportunity to actually look sideways at their work that you would not always see when you're working together, and it does blow you away.
If you walk around Orbost, you can see 2 murals that are up on 2 buildings in Orbost, and the secondary college did those, and they're pictures of the Curlup. And they were down in the shed, and when it came out of the shed, we organised to have them put up on the buildings in Orbost so people walking through the town can know it's the town for the Orbost Curlup project.
Well, people that come and visit the Marlow and East Gippsland area and experience a trip on the paddle steamer Curlup, they will take in some wonderful sights and scenery that they might not otherwise see in other places of the world.
Orbost District is just an amazing area. The natural attributes of this area are equal to anywhere in the world.
To experience a vessel like the paddle steamer Curlup on board the Snowy or Brodrib rivers would definitely be a once-in-a-lifetime experience for people that want to partake of that. As far as the future goes, we're a very dedicated, loyal band of volunteers that we have that keep the Curlup running, and all that we can do is do our best to keep the vessel operating, and so it will be here in for future generations to come.
I think it'll go along quietly. It's a magnificent project. If they can keep a team of volunteers working there, I think it'll go along very nicely.
I still, every time I'm on Curlup and we're cruising like this morning, you stand at the stern and you look at the boat and you think, well, it's not too bad.